So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream and also recorded for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I'm having a little bit of issues with laptops and fans and noise and the fact that I record for free, so it's not digital, it's not high, I can't remember the words now, but it's not high definition. It's bog standard what you get. So apologies for that. You know, if I get thousands and thousands of subscribers and I can afford to actually record digital, then I probably will high digital. But at the moment, and thank you to all my YouTubers for getting me over 500 subscribers, so that's wonderful. If anybody has any requests, I try to fix things, although by fixing the fan noise I've created an image thing. But if this doesn't work, I'm going to go back to the original videos, which weren't so bad, and use a headset. I bought a headset, so in theory you'll just hear my voice, but it won't be, you won't hear the kind of scratchiness and the way I work, but that's how it's going to have to be. So hopefully the light looks quite good on this, but this is going to be a test today. Today and tomorrow are going to be tests on different laptops, different sound systems, just so that I can get it right, because I've had a lot of complaints in the last few days. Now, having said that, I haven't been very well. I forgot to press to select the correct microphone, so the laptop microphone was on for 2 videos, and they're really interesting videos, but the sound is really bad, worse than normal. So I'm trying and get music over those, or to try to learn how to do a voiceover so that I can still show those videos, because there's some very good, it's how I set one of the pages in the Daydreams book with water, with just a damp brush, and use the pigments of the pastels in the pencils and I really like that. It's not the traditional way, it may not last, it's a colour book. It enables me to work in a very thin, like a Bennett Klein. This is actually a photocopy, because I wanted to use the chameleon pens, which are still here, but unfortunately I don't think I can use them. I'm going to have a go the last video today. So I normally get about 3 or 4 videos out, an hour each, and I have no idea what time it is. It's 10 o'clock, so I should get about 3 videos out. So after I've used these, my hands will be completely useless because they're really bad at the moment. But I want to finish this page, and I really love, and I've got to be a bit careful because I haven't sorted I really love the beautiful way of getting some pastel colours, and very quickly, without watercolouring. And I just love all these gorgeous, I put the automatic focus on, bear with me 2 seconds, to see if I can switch this over there, which I can. And so I can actually, no, I don't know why, it's not letting me. Oopsie, so I'm having to do this from behind. So that's quite good, but if I just put that there and hold this particular one there, it's not very good when you can't hold things steady. It doesn't like it. But I really love these gorgeous ways, and it's very quick, so I love that. So hopefully, my desk is on a slant, hopefully that should be better now. Hopefully the lights come back. Oh yes, come back. It's wonderful. Everything has a mind of its own. And I'm on a bit of a slant here, so that's not helpful. So I'm going to just take that from here and, oopsie, sorry, and just see if that's probably the best. We need some writing, don't we? We need some writing. Just let me see if I can just get this right, and then we can not think about it anymore. I think that's probably going to be the best we can get. So in here I have some of my favourite things. So I started watercolouring with my little book of watercolours, which has disappeared, as it would. This is a napkin. This is watercolouring on a napkin. This is a photocopy of the napkin. So I've coloured it, then photocopied it, and then I've photocopied it and then coloured the photocopy, if that makes any sense. But this is actually a photocopy of the actual serviette. Different colours. This is when I first started using all my different watercolours in my little paper palettes. So I had about 400 and some when I was doing this. So in here is the Inktense, the Don't watercolours. I've got Peerless in here and Caran d'Ache Colour 2s. So they're all in this, and I loved mixing them up together, just picking a colour and putting it next to it. So they could be, and that's what I loved about my little book. You couldn't physically get all the colours I have in my little book around you to pick. You know, you wouldn't want to go out and get 72 Derwent pencils and then go under the bottom tray and pick out a grey, and then go open the tin of Colour 2s and pick out a red. And this way you've got everything at your fingertips, and when you're out and about, that's brilliant. One of my early videos on my phone, which is very bad except for it shows some quite delicate work that I did in the car, and it's actually a video called Colouring in the Car. It's very short, but it shows just how easy it is. Again, this is Colour 2s mixed with Peerless and some vivid colours and bright colours. And then I bought some Graphitint. So I think there is a video about the Graphitint, Derwent Graphitint. So they're muted colours. They're very kind of pencil with colour, and they're gorgeous. This was just a practice because I was away. And then, of course, I got the chameleon pens from my daughter for college a couple of years ago, and she's used them. So this is my first attempt, and the first one I didn't count enough. The third one I counted too much, and by the time I'd got round all these flowers, I just about mastered the idea of where I wanted to highlight and if I could change it. This was my second play with chameleon pens. And again, love the fact that there are 3 pens here, but there are quite a few colours, and they're really easy to use. And you do each petal in a matter of moments. This was my 4th attempt, and I think I've used every colour in the 22 set here. So there's 20 different colours, 20 different pens, but there are hundreds of different colours. So you can use the red as a dark red, or you can use it paler. Then I started to think about really going paler and light and shade and shadow and everything else. So that was my 4th play. And then I was watching Dee William from Coffee and Art in the Morning, and she was putting dark backgrounds, and I thought, oh, I quite like that idea. They really pop. And then this was my first attempt with chameleon pens doing skin. So they're really nice, and then you can use them as a traditional marker with a bullet end at the other side. You don't have to blend it all the time. So that's a mixture. And then this was my final attempt with my next attempt with skin tones. And again, there's a big gap from this video to this video because my daughter took them to college and to uni, so I hadn't had them since September. And I think I did this one in September, and then I had a little bit of a play. Again, I photocopy. This is from Kirby Roseanne, and I love the fact I can get some beautiful, very, very pale effects. I love that. I did have a bit of a play, but I wasn't very well, to see if I could actually use them again, because I haven't used them since September. But I didn't do a practice, so there are some darker areas where there should be lighter, but I still had a good, that was the first attempt, and then by the time I got down here, I wasn't very well, but I had a bit of a play. So that's going to lead me to having photocopied things, so you can use markers and you can use untraditional things for books that are going to go through. That's why all these are photocopied. It's a good idea to keep them in here. Oh, this was the Hydrus, the Dr. Martens Professional Watercolours. They're in my little book. And this was Derwent watercolours with 3 pencils. There's just 3 pencils, but there's hundreds and hundreds of shades in there. This was dedicated to Thumper when he was alive, bless him. And then I had a bit of a go with traditional pencils, but I just couldn't draw for a week after I'd done that. So I've had a go, and I cannot physically do that. So that's a no-no. So all my pens and pencils have disappeared now, apart from the chameleon pens. So that's a few that are already done, and I'll just show this really quickly. So I have one of these, which is an expandable file, and I've got my photocopies in there. So I have photocopies that I would like to use in chameleon pens and other kind of things I can't. You see, I thought that would be wonderful with chameleon pens. So all these photocopies are in here for me to do for another time or in another medium that I feel like. Originally it was for acrylics, but I can't do that. So they're all in here waiting, except for the Harry Potter ones, because they're going to be with chameleon pens. I had intended to do oils and acrylics, but unfortunately that's all gone now. So while I was going through, and I seem to have got even photocopies, a bit like colour books. I got a lot of, I keep 2 pieces to stop the bleed through. And then I have a spare one to play, to make sure, and that's actually a watercolour one, but to play, so that before I ruin it, I can just touch on there. And what I've done is the brown nib needs replacing, but I can't do that at the moment. And that's what I love about the chameleon pens. You can change the nibs. So you can wear the nibs to death, and then you can just change them. But I wanted a bit of a practice, and that's why it was a bit kind of. But it was a practice. As I say, I hadn't used them for months, so I really need to have a bit of a practice. But I found that I end up with lots of. I just put that there. This is all practice. So I thought, well, what am I going to do with these? They're not finished. This has got professional watercolours, it's got graphitint, it's got Derwent pencils, it's got Inktense, it's got Hydrus, and it's got Winsor & Newton professional colours. Because I really wanted to try and see if I could get the proper colours of the parrots. So I've got all these with bits of play on them. And this isn't the original book, sorry, this is the original because it's torn out, and this is a photocopy. And I was thinking, I don't really like this. Why is it not working as well as the other young lady? And then it wasn't on photocopy paper. So actually photocopy paper is really good because you can get your beautiful blends. Sometimes a lot better than on a paper, on the original. Again, this is another play. I wanted to see instead of very pale, darker ones, playing with light. This is watercolor. Again, this is playing with how counting the same amount for a small one to a large one, but still getting a paler effect. So you're actually changing what you're doing. Playing with skin tone, but I don't think this is the pen. This is the watercolor that I was doing for Wolf, which I haven't finished yet, I'm ashamed to say. And I wanted to do all different dark, ordinary colours except for one young lady. So I have to finish that. But this was a tester to see how I wanted to use it for this. And actually I'm quite pleased because I'm going to do it in pastel, I think, now. So I'm really pleased I've kept the original in the book to do. And it's quite good to do that. You know, even as an artist, I change my mind. Again here, you know, to work in different colours. This is the photocopy of that, and I've pulled things out that I've got paints, metallic paints and things. And this is another different kind of watercolour. Again, a bit obsessed with this wonderful napkin that I found. So I photocopied it and started playing with some beautiful soft watercolour effects. And that's what taught me how I could that was the start of the invention of watercolouring, which is watercolouring with very little water. So you can watercolour in a Bible or on a very thin page, and the lovely pastel watercolour effect, and yet there's hardly any water there, and I really love that soft effect because I have vibrant colours to do vibrant colours. And again, this was a practice of how to get some nice effects. So I need this as a reference, really, I suppose. This again, I was trying to work out how to work this out, and I don't like the effect. I actually like this one better than the one I finished. So it doesn't always go that you make the right decisions. Again, this is one of the first attempts with Thumper, playing with those little tiny spaces. You know, how do you do that? Do you cover them all over and then go back into them, or do you do them each individually and then it's done? So you just sit and pick out each individual one. And you start on the outside with, again, it's the opposite of chameleon, with the damp way of working, watercolouring. You start on the outside, and by the time you've worked in, you've ended up with a very pale colour. Again, I was playing about with colour. Did I want to do rainbow colours, or did I want to do dark colours? What colours did I want the wolves? Did I want a black background? This was because I wanted this to be so special. And again, I love this particular wolf for the young lady that passed away. Again, a bit obsessed by this page as well. Really love some pale colours that I was using. I've gone off the thing, sorry. But this is what it's all about. It's to do with practicing. This is chameleon pens. Finding out just how pale you can get them. This was chameleon pens. This was my play last week, a couple of weeks ago, I think, to see if I could actually use it on the Kirby Rosanna. Is it too strong? And again, I should have realised that particular brown needs replacing. Sorry, I tapped the thing. But having a real nice play with highlights and shadows. with the chameleon pens. But you really have to use a photocopy for that, because I've actually done this one in watercolours as well. So it was a long time that I photocopied this. Again, having a play, putting different colours together, thinking about composition and you know, how dark you can get things. That was a napkin that I did for somebody. So here now I've got like lots of kind of photocopy things that I'm not using anymore. So these are going to be my scraps to go underneath my chameleon pen tester kind of things. So there's a lot of scrap there, and then some proper photo paper. So that's kind of really rough, but I need something to put that somewhere really, because it's quite handy to look back on if you can't remember how to do things. So that leads me to my, although I love this one, I want to finish this one, so I'm going to put this to one side. This leads me back to the Harry Potters. What I've done is I originally pulled all the colours out of the book here, the photographs, so that when you were doing a particular page you could actually work on it. I did that with both of them. And I've also, because I've photocopied some, like I wanted to do this one in chameleon pens, so I've photocopied it, but then I thought I'd just go to the book first. So what I'm going to do is I've put, and I don't know why that one's particularly there, I've tried to put the photocopies in the pages that they're kind of belong to. So this one actually is in pastel. This is actually in the book and it's pastel, but it's not set. And I love these colours. So I've just got a piece of paper. In fact, I could get rid of that and actually put a piece of tracing paper in. Now, tracing paper I have here is really, really nice. Oops, sorry. And I found a way of setting it, which I will show in the next video when I do the pastels. So I've tried to photocopy them, and I thought these would be really, really gorgeous. I can really see the kind of chameleon pens as a kind of as a graphic kind of painting. Not particularly manga, but you can still get some nice highlights and shadows and puddles and reflections and things. I thought that looked really good. So all my photocopies have actually gone back in, and again the skin tones, and I love this one, so I'm going to photocopy that one again because I like that one, and I might want to do them in pastel. So I'm going to photocopy most of these and do them in chameleon pens, and then the book is actually going to be in pastel so that I'm not damaging any pages. But I probably will do some pastels that are going to be unset and some with water, because I like that way of working at the moment. Oh, this is the one that I've done with pastel. This was just, I think that was just marker. And then I've used acrylics on here. And I've covered these with clear gesso that I made, homemade gesso. But there's a lot of videos out there, and mine is a made-up one just for me. It's not a professional one, because I didn't want to ruin my brushes. So, and I knew I'd be working with very fine watercolor brushes, even though I'm using acrylics. So I wanted something that's very soft, that is not going to damage the brushes at all. So I have all these to colour in, and I'll probably use my pastel pencils because that's a new thing that I'm into at the moment. So I shall just pop that one in there. And these aren't finished, so again I'm trying to have some kind of a semblance of order so that I'll go to this book and I'll think, oh, that's not finished. I'll do that. And I'll just pop that. Actually, I will leave this behind there. So that if I happen to just pick this up and the pens and go into the lounge, I don't have to worry about getting more paper. Everything's with me to colour. We'll just put Dobby. This is another one that I can't find the photograph to finish it. I don't know what colours she's got. I'll have to Google it. So this is the second attempt with a face and hair using the chameleon pens. So I quite like that, but I would like to do that in pastel, because at the moment pastels are the only things that I can use. So I think somewhere in here we have Dobby, if I remember rightly. I don't know where he is. He's definitely in here somewhere, because he's on the front. So again, I've removed the actual references so that you can take them to the page that you're working on. This is another acrylic that I started. And then photocopied it because I thought I might do that with chameleon pens. There's another acrylic one here as well. This is part of the book. So sometimes you destroy your book and it's gone. And this is Hermione in acrylics. But this is just the first dead flat colour to go in with a lot of detail. So it's had the homemade clear gesso on it, made with talcum powder. But I didn't put anything in it. It's just it's glue, PVA glue with water, and then I just put talc in it until it was the nice consistency, and just kept very carefully, put your hand over it because it's dusty, and do it. So, but I like that effect. There's a dead flat acrylic colour on there, and on the, I think I've done that on the back as well, yes. The only way you can tell is if you put it next to it, the black lines are paler, just slightly grayer. This is unused, it's a photocopy. But the actual book pages are just that bit paler because this has got this coat on it. So hopefully if I'm a bit better I can use this. This is the original page. The books tend to go to pieces once you start to tear them apart, but it's actually quite nice because it's like a used book. The other ones I like to look pristine, but these, again, quite nice because I'm using different mediums. So I really like playing with the pastels because you can really mix some nice colours. So those are my Harry Potter books. I didn't actually find where Dobby went, did we? He's in here somewhere. Is it towards the end, maybe? Never mind, I'll pop him in there. This isn't set, it's pastel. I think I've got a little bit of water on it, I think. That looks like it's water. Yes, maybe it is set. Maybe that was my practice. Yes, that was my practice to make sure that we could set it. And then to build colour on it, pastel on it. That's what I was doing. I don't think I've done anything in this one. I've had a good look at it. The only one I have done here, it's not that one, it's the other one with the books. I'm a bit obsessed by books, I always have been. I think it's no, it's not that one either. I'm going to use this one in chameleon pens, and this is going to be the size of the Art in the Abbey, so I'm going to be using that as well, because this is the kind of drawing maybe that I'll be using, but there will be panels. Each page